The little ghost had lived in Euliston Castle for hundreds of years. He was one of those harmless little ghosts who haunt places by night and never hurt anyone unless they were provoked. During the day, he slept up in the attic in a heavy iron-bound oak chest. The chest was well hidden behind one of the big chimneys. No one knew it really belonged to a ghost. Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to another edition of Second Childhood Book Quest. And this time, I had read The Little Ghost by Otfried Preußler. I knew I couldn't get that. I say it perfectly in my brain, but my brain does not connect anymore well with my tongue. Otfried Preußler. I've been coached at how to say it, but it's not going to work. It was German. Original language was German. In 1966 it was published. This edition was published in 2001 by Tyneman, I guess, is the publisher. And it's translated by Anthea Bell, illustrated by F.J. Tripp. There's really cool illustrations throughout. Actually, one-page illustrations at the top of every chapter. And, 1.5 page or 1.25 page. Yeah. It is about a little ghost, surprisingly. And as I said, he lives in a castle in the attic. He lives in the castle. He sleeps in an oak chest during the day. He sleeps for 23 hours a day. He wakes up at midnight with the chime of the town clock. And he haunts for an hour. He's been around for hundreds of years. And he travels around the castle. He carries around some keys that are magical keys that open any door in the castle for him. And he travels about. And he's got a friend, Tuwu the owl, that he goes to speak to occasionally. And on this occasion, at the beginning, he goes to see the owl. And he tells him about the story he says like 324, but he corrects himself. It will be 325 years ago that a Swedish general had invaded the town and set up in the castle. And the little ghost frightened him and told him to leave. And the general was frightened by the little ghost and left the next day. And the little ghost continues his story and says, he never came back. And, the general was truly scared of the little ghost. And the Tuwu the owl is a good friend to the little ghost, but he also talks to a picture of the general, or a general in the castle. But the little ghost wants to experience daytime, and he tries to stay up, but the little ghost falls asleep, and he's not able to. But then all of a sudden, one day, he wakes up, and his normal time, he thinks it's midnight, but it's daylight, and he thinks that it's great, but he tried stealing a clock, alarm clock to wake him up, but that didn't work. So he did wake up during the daytime, and he starts looking around. There's visitors to the castle, and for some strange reason, he doesn't know why, but he turns black, like he's white. At nighttime, but in the daytime he turns black with sort of glowing white eyes, and people get scared of him, and he falls down while he hides in a very deep well, and he's waiting there, and then he notices that that there's a tunnel that goes out of there. So he goes down the tunnel. Turns out that he gets into the sewers of the town, and he comes up in the middle of traffic and scares a police officer that's directing traffic. And there's this big celebration for the expulsion of this Swedish general that happens, because it's a few weeks after the beginning of the book that the town is so ecstatic about expelling the general. But we know that the little ghost is responsible for this. But it's getting time for him to sleep, so he's got to find somewhere to sleep, and he doesn't think he's going to be able to make it back to the castle. So he finds a little box, a chest at the town hall in the mayor's office, and but because he's now black, he's called the Dark Unknown. It's getting around the town, and they're speaking to the mayor about this. So he scares the mayor, and he goes back out and he scares a whole bunch of people. But he finds some children that are the chemist's children. They're not actually scared of him. So he tells the story of what happened, why he can't. He wants to go back to nighttime, and he's sorry for scaring everybody. He gets one of the children to write a letter to the mayor apologizing in his name, and that he will leave the town, the next day. But they want to find out why he's in the nighttime, he's now in the daytime. So he gives the children the keys. And, they do the bidding for the little ghost, and they go to the castle looking for Tuwu the owl, and they tell the owl the plight of the little ghost, and Tuwu owl knows what's happened to the little ghost, and he tells them that it's because the clock was turned off in the town for some repairs. And then it was almost like 24 or 12 hours, I think, or 24 hours. So when it started back up again, it started at the same time, but it was daytime, so it was the opposite time, so 12 hours, I guess. And so that's why the little ghost is waking up at the nighttime, so they need to change the clock so the little ghost can wake up back at nighttime. So the children go to the repair of the clock, and they turn it off, or they turn ahead for it so the little ghost can sleep at nighttime. So he goes back to the castle, and everything's okay, and the little ghost turns back to white during the nighttime, and he sees the owl, and the owl tells him, yeah, ghosts turn black during the daytime in sunlight. And the little ghost is just happy now that he's back with his friend Tuwu the owl, and the little ghost is just so pleased that he doesn't want to leave the castle again. It was a fun little story, but as you see, I said the little ghost several times during the description. Well, every paragraph has that. Our little ghost would do this. The little ghost did that. And then the next part, the little ghost, the little ghost, the little ghost, the little ghost. It's like, sometimes there's 5 times on a page. That gets a little annoying, but it is for younger children, so maybe that's, that can work. It might be just annoying to me as an adult. And another thing that's in this edition that I found really strange, you can see there's bold type on every page. You see there's bold type. Now that's a little strange. But then I realized there's a little sticker on the front. It says, brush up your English. And then at the end of each chapter, it's got those bold words, the words that are in bold, and then the German word for it. So I'm not sure why they chose those specific words, but like ledge, Vorsprung, Wellschaft, Brunnerschaft, or I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but it's got the German translation from those words. So yeah, but it was a cute little story about the ghost and, like, you know, his little adventures. And I think it would have been great as a child, but as an adult, like I say, the thing that was very annoying was you know, the little ghost, and it's like, yes, I know it's a little ghost. And that got a little annoying after a while, but everything else was perfectly fine. It was enjoyable. I did like the illustration. There he is talking to the general that he scared out of out of the town. And there he is sitting with Tuwu the owl on the branch, speaking to Tuwu the owl. So yeah, it's a fun little story. The next one I've got, I should have had it out, but I still have one left from the original 5. So if you'd like to suggest something else, I do have a few things. Like, I've got some Goosebumps to go through, and I still have more Paddington to read. So, but if there's anything else you'd like me to read, do suggest it down below, and I can put it in my wish list, and we can go from there. And again, thank you very much for watching and following along with my second childhood book quest. Thank you, BookTube.